I have this feeling that something huge is being hidden on General Hospital right now. And honestly, the more I think about it, the darker this whole situation starts to feel. Because if you ask me, Kate Mansi leaving the show may not just be another cast exit. I think it could be the beginning of a devastating storyline that wipes out more than one character at the same time. And here is the part that keeps replaying in my head. What if Christina is not leaving Port Charles alone? I do not know, guys. I could be wrong. But the way all of this is lining up lately feels strange to me. It feels too heavy, too emotionally loaded. And when I started thinking about Alexis being dragged into this possible mystery involving Delilah, suddenly everything connected in a way I honestly was not expecting. Because let us be real here for a second. Kate Mansi already revealed she is leaving GH. That part is no longer speculation. So naturally, my mind immediately went to the question every fan is asking right now: how does Kristina leave? And the answer I keep coming back to is tragedy. But here is where things get even more uncomfortable for me personally. I have also been noticing some of the conversations surrounding Nancy Lee Grahn online lately. And listen, I am not saying anything has been confirmed. I am not saying the show is definitely doing anything. This is strictly my own interpretation and speculation. But from what I have seen recently, Nancy has made comments online that created a lot of backlash and controversy among viewers. Again, maybe it means nothing. Maybe the show does not care at all. I genuinely hope that is the case. Still, I cannot completely ignore the timing because if you ask me, there is a possibility GH could decide to write Alexis out too. And once that thought entered my head, suddenly this entire theory exploded into something much bigger. Here is how I think it could happen. I believe Alexis and Ava may leave town together to investigate the truth about Delilah. In my opinion, this would not be some simple side mission. I think they would slowly realize Delilah's identity may connect to something far more dangerous than they expected. Maybe a criminal network, maybe a hidden organization, maybe people who have been watching them long before they realized it. And this is the open loop that keeps bothering me. What exactly did Delilah know before she died? Because I feel like the answer to that question could become the key to everything. Now imagine Alexis getting deeper into this investigation with Ava. They start uncovering pieces of information they were never supposed to find. Strange messages, people following them, warnings, maybe even disappearances connected to Delilah's past. I can already picture Alexis refusing to back down because that is exactly who she is. She pushes harder. Ava gets nervous. The danger gets closer. And then Kristina finds out. Guys, this is where I think the story becomes heartbreaking. Because Kristina would never stay behind if she believed Alexis was in danger. Never. Especially after everything they have been through together. I think Kristina would panic emotionally and rush to find her mother before it is too late. Not because she has a perfect plan. Not because she understands the danger. But because that emotional bond between them would overpower logic completely. And honestly, that feels painfully realistic to me. I can already imagine Kristina secretly leaving Port Charles after hearing rumors about Alexis and Ava being targeted. Maybe she tracks their location herself. Maybe somebody warns her not to go. Maybe Molly even begs her to stop. But Kristina goes anyway, because in her mind, Alexis needs her. And that decision may become fatal because according to my theory, Alexis, Ava, and Kristina eventually end up trapped by this mysterious group that has been hunting them. And I do not think this would be some small confrontation either. I think this would be violent, fast, chaotic, the kind of scene that changes the entire emotional tone of the show afterward. Now, here comes the twist that I honestly cannot stop thinking about. I think Ava might survive. Barely. And if that happens, then Ava becomes the only witness left alive to tell the story of what really happened out there. Can you imagine how horrifying that return to Port Charles would be? Just picture it for a second. Ava walking back into town, completely broken emotionally. No Alexis beside her. No Kristina. Just silence and 2 urns containing their ashes. I am sorry, but that image alone feels exactly like the kind of emotional gut punch GH loves to deliver when they want viewers crying for weeks. And the reason I think this theory works so well is because it destroys multiple characters emotionally at once. Sunny would spiral. Molly would completely break down. Dante would carry guilt for not protecting Kristina. Even Ava herself would probably never recover mentally from witnessing something that traumatic. But there is another layer here that I think people are overlooking. What if Ava surviving creates suspicion instead of sympathy? Think about that for a second. What if she comes back alone and nobody fully believes her version of events? What if people start questioning how Ava escaped while Alexis and Kristina did not? I could absolutely see Port Charles turning against her. And honestly, that kind of fallout would create months of emotional drama afterward. That is why I think this theory actually makes sense from a storytelling perspective. It is not just about writing characters out. It is about creating emotional wreckage that affects everybody left behind. Now, personally, I really hope I am wrong about Alexis. I mean that sincerely. Because Alexis has been part of GH for so long that imagining the canvas without her feels strange. But I cannot lie either. The possibility keeps sitting in the back of my mind, especially because Kristina dying alone almost feels too predictable. But Kristina and Alexis dying together, that would shock the audience in a completely different way. And if GH truly wants one of those unforgettable tragedy storylines fans talk about for years, then this could absolutely be it. Still, there is one final thing I cannot stop wondering about. What if the mysterious organization is bigger than Alexis ever realized? What if Delilah was only the beginning? Because if Ava returns alive, then technically the threat is not over. The people responsible would still be out there somewhere, watching, waiting, maybe even connected to somebody already in Port Charles right now. See, that is the part that makes me think this story could spiral even further after the deaths happen. And honestly, if you ask me, that would make the tragedy even darker. Because then Kristina and Alexis would not just become victims. They would become warnings. That is just the way I see it, though. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Kristina gets a different exit entirely. Maybe Alexis stays on the show for years. Maybe Ava never leaves town at all. But right now, based on everything I have been seeing lately, I genuinely feel like GH may be building toward one of the saddest and most haunting storylines we have seen in a very long time. That is just my opinion, guys. I could be wrong. What do you think?
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.